I will hunt down bin Laden and the terrorists who killed 3,000 Americans, but I'm also going to worry about nuclear proliferation and reduce nuclear stockpiles. And we're going to lead, not only on issues like nuclear proliferation, we're going to lead on making sure that poor countries can educate their children, have a public health infrastructure to deal with HIV/AIDS and malaria and other devastating diseases, making sure that they have enough to eat, making sure that we are bringing an end to the genocide in Darfur. That's part of our leadership. And one more area where we are going to lead is on human rights and civil rights and rule of law and civil liberties. We are going to close Guantanamo and restore habeas corpus, because you'll have a president who has taught the Constitution and believes in the Constitution and will obey the Constitution of the United States of America.
Constitution!
All this is possible if we push aside the special interests, if we have an honest conversation about how we're going to solve problems. But there's one other thing we're going to have to do, and that is start trusting each other again. Start working together again. You know, when I started this campaign, I said to my staff, I want to run a different kind of campaign. We're going to try to run a positive campaign. We're not going to worry about what other folks are doing. We're going to try to focus on what we think we can do for America. And you know, I am very proud of the kind of campaign that we've run. Whether we were up or whether we were down, we've been consistent in tone, we've been consistent in message. Now, I won't lie to you, there have been times where we slipped up a little bit. You know, you get whacked around a little bit and then you start wanting to punch back. But you know, when we do that, when we get involved in this tit for tat, back and forth, distorting other people's messages, trying to paint them in the most negative possible light, when we do those things, we lose sight of what this campaign and this election has to be all about. This campaign and this election is not about Barack Obama. It's not about Hillary Clinton. It's not about John McCain. It's about you. It's about the American people. It's about your hopes. It's about your dreams. It's about the single mom I met who couldn't provide health care for her family, despite working 2 jobs. It's about the guy I met in Indiana who, after working 20 years at a plant, was packing up the equipment he had worked on because it was being shipped overseas.
His father worked on
and him telling me how that equipment was also the same equipment that his dad had worked on for 30 years. What it paid for food in his family's home. It's about that child I meet in the inner city or in the barrio somewhere or in rural Appalachia who doesn't have the kind of school that we would want for our children, who doesn't have a computer, who doesn't have new textbooks. It's about the mother who gave me this bracelet that I wear to commemorate a son 20 years old who had died in a roadside bomb and who begged me that I would do something to make sure that no other mother had to go through the same thing that she had gone through. That's what this campaign is about. It's about your hopes, it's about your dreams. It's about what's possible when a new generation of Americans stand up and say, we are not going to settle for what is, we are going to imagine what might be. You know, there's a moment like that that happens in the life of every generation, where we shed our fear and we shed our doubt and we shed our cynicism, where we roll up our sleeves and arm in arm, we start rebuilding this country. Block by block, county by county, state by state. This is our moment. This is our time. And you know, if people start saying, yeah, that all sounds good, but we're not sure about Obama. That's what the Republicans are trying to do. They're trying to make this campaign about me and trying to make you afraid about me. He's got a funny name. He's, you know, all the, you know all the stuff that they're doing. You just have to remind them about my story, because my story is your story. It's a story of being born to a teenage mom. My father left when I was 2. I was raised by a single mom and my grandparents who came from small towns in Kansas. Grew up in the Great Depression. Didn't have anything. My grandfather went to fight in World War II in Pan's Army to help liberate Europe. My grandmother worked on a bomber assembly line while she took care of the baby back home. When my grandfather came back, there was a government, a United States government, that said, we're going to invest in those GIs coming home. Give them a college education, because if we do, we will rebuild America. We're going to loan them money to buy their first home, because if they can afford a mortgage, then that's going to develop all of America. When their daughter grows up, we're going to give her a college scholarship, because we believe that if we educate every American, then that will make all of us better off. When my mother was trying to go to school and work at the same time and didn't have a lot of money, she was able to provide us with food, because the government said, you know, we're going to step up and provide some food stamps because we want to make sure there's no child going hungry in this country. That's the kind of government that we've had. That's what America's about. Not us being on our own, but being in it together. And everybody here has a similar story. We are a self-reliant people, we are an independent people, but we are not a people that turns our backs on each other. We are a people that depends on each other, that believes that all of us have to rise together or all of us will fall together. That's my story. That's Michelle's story. That's your story. That's the American story. That's the struggle that we are facing here in this election. That's what's at stake on Tuesday here in Oregon. And if you vote for me, then I promise you, we won't just win Oregon. We'll win this nomination. We will win this general election.
And you and I together.
And you and I together, we will change this country and we'll change the world. Thank you, Portland. Thank you. God bless you. God bless America. Thank you.